In a game very reminiscent of last year's in the Dome, except this time a heartbreaking loss and a missed opportunity. But one thing is for sure, the Orange went into Death Valley unafraid in front of 80,122 fans and gave the Tigers hell. I am Sean, and this is the Cuse Militia Podcast.
The right of the people to keep and wear orange shall not be infringed. Welcome to the Cuse Militia Podcast with those two unapologetically biased orange-blooded homers, Sean and Joe. Give us a like on Facebook at Cuse Militia Podcast and follow on Twitter at Cuse Militia.
All right, what's up, Cuse Nation? Thanks for tuning in to the Cuse Militia Podcast with Sean and Joe. If you like it, please subscribe, whatever platform you listen on. We appreciate that. And we have a ton to get to today, of course, as always. But first, as always, we need to hear from MyBookie. If you are an experienced sports bettor like Joe or a novice like myself, you know, you might lose a couple ducats here and there. But one thing's for sure. If you're not betting with MyBookie, you're doing it wrong. If you're betting with any other online source, you're doing it wrong. They've been in business for years, have great online reviews, and their mobile site is easy to use. I would only recommend a service to my listeners that's been good to me. That's why I'm urging you to make your way to MyBookie. You win, they pay. They have in-game live betting, over-unders on fantasy points scored, and the most rewarding player perks in the business. MyBookie is currently slammed with bettors and wants to give everyone the best possible service. So what they're going to do for you is if you're willing to deposit after 7 p.m. Eastern Time, they'll give you an additional $25 free play on deposits over $100. For that, you will use promo code Cuse25. If you just want to join in the normal business hours before 7 o'clock, you use promo code Cuse. Visit MyBookie online today. That's MyBookie. And don't forget to use promo code Cuse. Or if you're willing to deposit after 7 p.m., use promo code Cuse25. It's up to you guys. I would wait and get the extra money, but hey, whatever. You win, you get paid. MyBookie. All right.
I wouldn't call myself an expert, but, you know.
Well, experienced. How about that?
That's a little better.
You are 5-0. You are 5-0 in the MyBookie picks. And we got another one, and we'll go over the last one. So, real quick, we mentioned the Google Hangout thing. We still plan on doing the Google Hangout thing. We want to, it's tough getting on here during the weekends and stuff, but we want to do an impromptu one first to go over, because I got to be honest, I don't know how it works. So, and I know Joe, I know damn well Joe has no clue how it works.
Nope.
Absolutely. So another thing real quick is, this podcast is broken into the top 10 on iTunes for the category of high school and college sports. I couldn't find a separate college sports category when I was setting it up. Maybe there's one now, and we'll move up to that and see if we can move up the rankings in that too. But as of right now, that's pretty cool. So we appreciate that. We appreciate all the reviews, and we appreciate the downloads. So that is that.
Keep it up.
Yeah, we got some poll progression stuff. The polls, the fan feedback. We'll obviously go over the loss, and from there, we'll do the Pitt preview. So the Orange now sit at 4-1 overall, 1-1 in the ACC. Eric Dungey was 26 for 41 through the air for an even 250 yards and one interception. Dungey, who usually has a prominent ground game, averaged less than a yard per rush, 13 rushes for 11 yards. He did, however, score his 25th and 26th touchdown of his career, passing all-time rushing leader Joe Morris for 6th in team history, and his 1,040th career pass attempt. Only Ryan Nassib is ahead of him with 1,312. Both of them are the only two in that category with 1,000 plus. It was Jamal Custis leading the Orange in receiving 73 yards on 5 carries. Taj Harris pulled in a 51-yard bomb, and he followed up Custis with 66 yards on 3 catches. The most notable disappointment on the stat sheet, though, is the dismal 61 yards on the ground. Sean Riley led all rushers, 24 yards and 2 carries. The Orange only 2 touchdowns came from 2 Dungey short runs. Clemson's Trevor Lawrence finished 10 for 15 for 93 yards before being knocked out of the game. Backup Chase Bryce was 7 for 13 for 83 yards, but it was ETN who pushed Clemson to the win, 203 yards and 27 carries, an average of 7.5 yards a carry. He also had 3 touchdowns. His rushing took a toll on the Syracuse defense that played well for most of the game. It was Kylan Whitner who led the defense with 11 tackles. Kendall Coleman with 2 sacks. Evan Foster and Chris Slayton followed up with 1 each. Syracuse has 8 interceptions in the 2018 season. That is tied for second in the nation, which is kudos to them. That's awesome. The defense still stout, I think, after that game. They did play pretty good, like I said. We'll go. So what we'll do, Joe, is we're going to go over the negative stuff, and we're going to leave this game on a positive note because there's a lot of positive stuff to draw, I think, from this game.
Yeah.
And there's no moral victories, I don't believe.
No.
But you can look at the bright side of things, and that's what we try to do here. So lead me off, Joe. Lead me off on some of the negatives here.
The negatives, I think, were timely penalties that kind of hurt in certain situations, especially the ineligible man downfield in the fourth quarter. And
that one was huge. That was
that was huge. The fact that we got stuck kicking 3 field goals in the second quarter and without being able to get one of those as a touchdown, I think we just needed to be able to score a little bit more. And I would say probably a little bit of, I don't want to call it clock management, but
everybody else is calling it clock management.
I know, but it was one of those things where it was kind of just unfortunate, but it just seemed to me like we probably could have possibly called a timeout at some point in that last drive to maybe talk things over, give somebody some rest, you know, stuff like that. But
Hands
I think
hips.
also too, I think a little bit of the play calling in the second half was also a little
offensive play calling.
Offensively, yeah, it was a little. I don't know. I would have liked to have seen them try to possibly, just get some first downs and kind of put some drives together and kind of eat some of the clock away and end up getting some points. Even Dino Babers in his press conference post game talked about trying to go for it and get that one play, and they thought that if they could get to 30. That they thought that they were going to be okay. But the fact that we didn't score in the third quarter and it took that muff punt in the fourth quarter, I mean, it just kept them in. The fact that we kicked so many field goals early. Yeah, so, I mean, that's the negative stuff. And really, against a team like them, I mean, it almost seems like nitpicking. It's just we knew that it had to be kind of perfect,
Right.
Because they can just line up and do what they did in the second or fourth quarter, really. But they just kind of lined up and they imposed their will over time as far as depth and getting the time of possession. They were on the field a lot in the second half, and it just wore down our defensive line and our linebackers and safety. I mean, pretty much our whole defense. You saw a lot of missed tackles. We had chances right there to make tackles, and there was just a lot of missed tackles from tired players. And unfortunately, we ended up on the wrong side of this one when it felt after the third quarter, I'm sure, to Clemson fans like it was going to be a loss, and to Syracuse fans it was going to be a win. But again, that's why there's 4 quarters. That's why they play till they go to 0. And again, I mean, I think the depth of Clemson and just being able to just kind of rush it down our throats just kind of took its toll on us.
Yeah, we talked. Oh, my gosh, I forgot in the open. I knew I was forgetting something. A big thanks to Justin Page from CNY Central. I almost forgot. So, Channel 3 and 5, I guess, CNY Central, they interviewed Joe and I last Tuesday or Wednesday. I think it was Tuesday. It was on the 5:30 news and everything. I just want to thank Justin for that. But in that interview, when we were talking to him, Joe, we talked about how Clemson, they only allow 2 yards per rush. Okay, They've only allowed 3 rushing touchdowns all year before they played Syracuse. Dungey scored 2 rushing. I mean, I know their goal line, short.
We only rushed for 61 yards, so I mean.
Yeah, I know, but they're 2 yards per rush. That's what we averaged 2.3 the whole game. So they're right at their average, and their defense was just a little bit better than our offense on the run. So
yeah, I think I would have liked to have seen a bunch of quicker passes and possibly some screens sprinkled in there, especially when their defense was getting really aggressive. And I mean, you could tell once Trevor Lawrence, he was out and they came out at the halftime that, the defense and the rest of the team, they were going to kind of come together and try to do what they can to win the game. And that's what they did. They kind of did it like Dabo Sweeney said, the old-fashioned way. It's just the old-fashioned way to win in a game, and that's just hard-nosed defense and not allowing any points and just grounding and pounding and hope that eventually your will break them or the other team will get tired, and that's what happened. And that's what they had to do to win. So
you think with Trevor Lawrence going out, would you almost rather have seen him stay in? It seemed, it's hard to say.
You never know, but I tell you what, there's no way that they would have ended up running the ball that many times.
That's exactly what I was about to say.
It wouldn't have been that outcome, that's for sure. Who's to say he doesn't come out and start shredding us up through the air? But either way, yes, in some ways, in hindsight, you might want to come back and look and see,
Because it was ETN that killed us, and they went to him mainly.
Right, but again, even on top of that, the third quarter, they didn't get any points. Well, what'd they get? Maybe a field goal?
Yeah, I don't have the point breakdown.
No, they got a couple field goals, because it was 23-13. So, they were at halftime at 7. So, I guess they were moving the ball and they were getting some field goals. So, in hindsight, as soon as Trevor Lawrence got out and they brought this other guy in, it went completely vanilla, and it was basically like, we're just going to line up hard nose and we're just going to run it down your throats, and then hit a couple small short passes. That fourth down that he hit on that last drive was crucial, and that was probably the play of the game. Well, obviously that, and then the illegal man downfield that stopped our first down.
Yeah, but the 4th and 6 was a gift because it was a 4th and 1 with a false start, and now you push him back 5 yards.
But I thought we were going to stop him right there. I didn't know exactly what was going to. Yeah,
I know.
So and for everybody else who wants to, we lost to a third stringer, this and that. Like, it's still a quarterback who got a scholarship to Clemson. The guy was a 4-star recruit. He was more highly recruited than probably. I don't want to say DeVito's probably close, but before DeVito, probably the last 15 years, something like that. And so the guy is a good player. So. Just definitely don't want to use get on Syracuse and be all negative because we lost to a third stringer. Like,
there's not a ton of negative.
It's still Clemson, and at the end of the day, he's a talented guy, and just handing the ball off eventually did us in and did enough to kind of get us tired to be able to do what they did.
The 4th and 6 was a 20-yard pass, though. That was the last play that screwed us. So ultimately, that was the dagger, I think. Because it was the last play that we could have stopped. And there was what? I wrote it down here. I think there was only 2. Yeah, there was only 2:50 remaining in regulation at that 4th and 6 play.
Yeah.
So you get the ball back right there. Yeah, and then you punt it. They were at the 50-yard line, something like that, right?
No, around that, maybe barely inside, but yeah.
Yeah. So you're looking at, even if you go 3 and out and you kill some clock, you're looking at, drastically changing the field position. So,
yeah.
It is, it is what it is.
There's a lot of things you can say in hindsight, At the end of the day, we went down there and we played our hearts out, There's nothing to be ashamed of. The only thing to be, that's upsetting, obviously, is to anybody watching. It looked like, obviously we were in the position to win the game and we let it go. But it is still Clemson.
Trill Williams got his interception. But they turned the ball over 3 times, right? 2 fumbles and interception. Yep. So the opportunities were there. Our defense did a good job. They were definitely rattling Trevor Lawrence before they knocked him out of the game. They got to him a couple times. There was an intentional grounding that wasn't called.
That's true.
Because the ball never reached the line of scrimmage. They didn't even look at that. It was like 5 yards short. So
thank God they missed the field goal on that, but
exactly,
obviously in hindsight it didn't. Again, as a fan, you got to look at it like in the beginning of the season. Would you have taken if I'd have told you after the Clemson game you were going to be 4-1?
You'd have taken that, and you'd have been happy.
You'd have taken it. Oh, 100%. Yeah, especially considering, people probably would have laughed at you because.
And we went. We went Syracuse.com. I had tweeted out something about 17 quarters. without giving up the lead. Of course, in the first quarter, Clemson did outscore us with a touchdown to our 2 field goals. But it was someone at syracuse.com who actually tracked the minutes. It was 254 minutes and 6 seconds. So, we held the lead for the entire year so far. So, and we did. Well,
and that's a lot of that. Yeah, that's definitely an interesting stat. But just this specific one, as far as I remember coming out of that first quarter, I mean, obviously, as a Syracuse fan, just being up or being close, but we dominated that first quarter, and for us to be down 7-6, it was kind of like, and then we came back in the second quarter, and I mean, we played that first half, and it was awesome, but we needed to come out with more touchdowns. We needed to be able to score, and with the defense that we have and the depth that we have, I think as we go through the season and some of these other teams and offenses progress, we're going to need to score 30-plus points to win.
And we can, though. We can. This.
Well, yes, absolutely. We have in every game other than this one. So I think that's just a testament to Clemson's defense. And, again, just a couple mistakes here and there. And who knows how many more points would be on the board. So
a couple positives that you can take away from this as well. How about Sterling Hoffrichter?
Yeah,
he and Schmidt too.
And Schmidt,
yeah. So
the overall special teams. I mean, it took a hit because our long snapper Matt Keller announced today that he is out for the season.
Yeah, he tore ACL or something.
Yeah, he's out for the season, and that's hopefully doesn't hurt. Because of how good our special teams has been. So
yeah, absolutely. Hopefully, with Hoffrichter, he averaged. I mean, these are NFL numbers, averaging 48.6 yards a punt and 4 inside the 20, and Schmidt too. So those I think those are two guys that are going to. That we'll see in the NFL. So that's
as much
the kicking game in the Clemson game. The punting and the field goals, especially the punting, the way he changed the field, he backed them guys up, and those balls hung in the air so long that a couple of them were muffed. So they got one back.
Made sure he wasn't going to miss the second one.
That's right. So that's what a high ball will do. And he's got a booming leg, man. He's it's awesome.
And as much as I didn't want to settle for field goals, I mean Schmidt went in there in that hostile environment and just banged field. I mean, it was the second one that he hit was 51 or 52 yarder.
Yeah, 51. Yeah. So
yeah, just an unfazed guy, man. He needs a scholarship.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and he'll get that.
He'll definitely get it.
Yeah. So, the other thing. I would say would have to be we went there in that hostile environment. 80,122 fans with a good showing from Cuse Nation, by the way. They were out there, but
they were. But there was so much orange you really couldn't tell. But I think
I know. But
the last 2 years, I think we've gained the respect of that team. I think the coaches have mutual respect at the fans. I mean, they rush the field.
Well, don't they always rush the field when they win?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I think they do.
Well, either way, it's a bad look.
I know it's a bad look, but I think that's what they do, though.
They've been in the national championship the last 3 years. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
There has got to be some type of expectation down there. But, hey, I mean.
Twitter did explode about that.
Oh, yeah, they did. But still, I mean, it's coming from if you actually try to put yourself in a Clemson fan's shoes, that must have been that's one of the better comebacks. I mean, being down 10 with 12 minutes to go at home to a team that beat you last year and had been pretty much dominating the game, and you got your third stringer, and that whole Kelly Bryant, Trevor Lawrence thing happened. I mean, I bet you there was a lot of guys that were just.
It didn't look good going in, right? I mean, you're
right.
The spirits were not at 100%, definitely.
No, and I'll tell you what, coming out that second half, that team looked re-energized. I mean, I don't know if it was just because they learned something. Dabo learned something from last year and just subbed out early. Because I know there was a couple times early when I saw, the second stringers and I didn't see a couple, big number 90 and stuff like that in there. So, maybe that was part of it this year to where, they kind of paced themselves and knew how long the game with Syracuse it was. But, that team looked like they were in it, like they all came together and they weren't going to let this whole quarterback situation stop them from beating us or from us beating them again.
Right.
You know, like
they were definitely re-energized after the half. You could tell almost immediately, and that's when you started to notice our play calling too was almost timid. And I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't mean
like you're afraid. You want to just hold on to the game. You don't want to do anything
you're trying
dumb.
to milk it. Yeah, you can't milk 30 minutes of football. Not like that. Not against a team like that. Now, I don't think that's what Babers was trying to do, but he was a little conservative with the play calls, I think.
Yeah,
like
and
almost too
in
scared
turn, our defense was just on the field for way too long.
Yes, and they just got whooped. I mean, there's no way around it. So, it is what it is. Sweeney did have a couple of things to say. We cut some of that audio for you at his post-game presser. Here it is.
Man, hats off to Syracuse. I mean, what an unbelievable fight that those guys had. I mean, Dino does a great job. He's one of the best coaches in this league, and just to see his team play like they did, to come into this place and to compete, I thought they played with a lot of toughness and a will to win, and that's a reflection of the coaching staff. So, and they just hung in there. We got our first interception of the year. I thought we should have had one more, but Trayvon Mullen gets knocked out. Now you got a true freshman in Kyler McMichael out there playing against a pro quarterback. That kid is really good. He is a great winner. That guy is a football player, and Dino's got a heck of a team. They're going to be a tough out for everybody they play. Their defensive line is good, but I thought we wore them down. I thought at the end of the game we just wore them down.
Yeah, see, that's just some of the respect that you can see just between. I mean, I've listened to both press conferences between Dabo and Dino, and they both have mutual respect for each other. And the last 2 years, the way these games have been played and everything like that, it's just, I mean, when you listen to sometimes coaches or sometimes people, they say things, but you really don't, Yeah, they're just saying it. When Dabo said that about Syracuse being a tough out for everybody, like the way he said it, that's a honest, like. He wasn't just saying it because he likes Dino or just to say it, So.
Yeah, and the other thing is it's true. I mean,
well, yeah. Well, there's some people that still doubt us, even our own fans. So it's still going to be Syracuse.
Right. But I think the tides are turning on that train of thought. But there is, Clemson was our toughest game at Clemson, number 3 ranked team. That was our toughest game of the year. Not that things are going to get dramatically easy. There's going to be some good competitive games, but the way they played Clemson, you got to be able to look at it and say, Syracuse can beat anyone left on the schedule. And you know what I'm saying? I mean, if you can go into Death Valley like that and you can be competitive like that, as long as they stay healthy, which is another positive coming. I know long snapper is out, which sucks.
But still, I mean, I see relatively. Your point. I mean, the next most competitive game on our schedule is Notre Dame at Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, second before last game, neutral site.
Yeah. So that right there, and I mean, like you said, if you go to Death Valley, and you play like that. Now, granted, the way that we play might not be the best suited for outdoor game in November, but
yeah.
So, but that's if you're a Syracuse fan, like you said, you can look at that game and say we could beat anybody left on the schedule. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, wrapped up. There's a lot of good, positive things to pull out of that game. A heartbreaker for sure, a missed opportunity, but they went in there, they gave them hell, and we won't hang our heads about it.
It's time to hear from you. The loudmouths from the Loud House. The best damn college sports fans in the nation.
All right, it's time for fan feedback. This is my favorite segment each week. So this is how it works. You go to @Cuse Militia on Twitter. You give us a follow there. I will always ask after the game for your thoughts. One thing, just a Twitter note real quick. We got 2 accounts. We're going to be merging those soon. And I've already started the transition. And I've went to the old account, and I've followed everybody to bring them over. That's my invitation, if you will. So go there. Go to Facebook at Facebook, Cuse Militia Podcast on Facebook. All right, so here's the first thing I want to go over. It's time to give away koozies. I love giving stuff away, and I even got more stuff. I got some decals I'm going to send out. Oh, Joe, did you get your package?
I haven't checked the mail.
Oh, are you serious?
I'll check it later.
Oh, what a jerk. Jeez, I'm crow. Okay, so, look, if you listen on iTunes, go to iTunes, give us a 5-star rating, give us a written review. If I read your review on the show, you get free stuff. It's easy. You don't have to do anything but rate us and review us. Okay, from D Snake. Look, this is how easy it is. D Snake. Okay, must listen, subscribe, don't miss an episode. How easy is that? How easy is that? Go ahead, do it, and we'll get you stuff sent. D Snake, email us, cusemilitia@gmail.com. And who was the one last week? I did not receive an email from John Jacob 0436, and I'm begging you to email me so I can give you stuff. So John Jacob 0436, if you're listening this week, go ahead, email us, cusemilitia@gmail.com. All right. There was a graphic for the AP poll progression, and it goes week by week. So you've got the preseason where SU is nowhere to be found on here. And I just want to do this just to give people an idea of the, maybe some people are like, oh, well, we almost beat Clemson. We should be in. Or we went 4-0. We should be in last week, The second week, and when we were 2-0, nowhere to be found. The third week was when we beat Florida State, and we were nowhere to be found. After that game, we started to pop up on the radar. We have to be around like 35 or something like that. I'd have to count it out. But the week after that, we moved up again. That was the week we got 2 votes. Then we got, 5 votes or something? Or no, it was 2 votes, 25 votes after 4-0. So going into Clemson, we were bumped up to about, I'd say like 35. And then yesterday, when it came out, we're actually 28th. So we moved up. Our biggest move was after the loss to Clemson. So we're right there on the cusp. USF and Boise State are ahead of us. So according to this. So I thought that was pretty cool. At Kevin on CFB tweeted that out, and I happened to catch my eyes.
Yeah, it's all about where you start.
Right. In other words,
we started back so far. I mean, we weren't a blip on the radar.
Exactly.
So it takes a little while.
Right. And then the poll for the week, I did a cheesy poll, but I think it works. The spread for the game was 24.5 points when Joe locked in his bet, and I asked if Cuse was going to be able to cover that, and 81% said yes out of 118 votes. So
there you go.
Yeah, not bad. That's faith. I like seeing that, Cuse Nation. I like seeing the faith there.
And a lot of points.
So, right. Yeah, I know. It's a ton of points. So, all right. On Twitter, I did not read these yet, so I'm reading them for the first time. Let's see here. So I didn't get to pick and choose. And thank you, too, for going and doing this because there's so many now, I don't even think we can get to them all, Joe, which it didn't used to be like that. In fact, it wasn't even close. So
No. You used to write your own.
Yeah, I did. I definitely did look for general comments on the game. So.
Oh yeah. I mean, general stuff. Now we get to pick and choose. Yeah,
now we get to do it right from our own stuff all the time. So, which is great. At Geo Heater, obviously disappointed, but man, we do have a football team. It's amazing. It's amazingly possible that we don't lose again this year. If we can play that kind of game in Death Valley against that team, we can beat anybody. I agree. Defensive line looked great. Kendall Coleman had a big day. Proud fan. Geo Heater, he always has got some good stuff to say. He's a high school kid too, man. I think he's like, he's on Twitter. I think he's like class of 21 or something like that.
Hey, he puts up good stuff. It's good stuff.
Yeah. At Tony21NY, great game, missed chances, keep the hurry-up offense going. Tigers D got into the game when the tempo slowed down. That's a good point. We talked about that, but we never specifically contributed it to that, but it's true. The tempo slowed down. They were taking a really long time in between plays, more than normal, And yeah, they were able to catch their breaths more. I think it's a good point. They were gassed the entire first half. Absolutely, they were. Great game for Cuse defense. Yeah, the Cuse defense held up for most of the game. It's just right there when we really needed them to hang on.
Couple plays, man.
Yeah. All right, this one's hard to read. Jack Ryder Paris, at Jack Ryder Paris. They keep improving every year and every week. Super tough place to play against a number 3 ranked team. Extend the man's contract. Yeah, a lot of talk. There was a little bit. I saw all angles of the Babers discussion. I saw a hashtag going fire Babers. I mean, you got to be insane, right? You got to be crazy to demand that guy's head after that game. That's insane. That's
off your rocker.
Yeah, totally. We've seen the call for Dungy to step aside for DeVito. I disagree with that too. I got to say. I mean, he's the man. He's the senior, and he's led the team. And as long as he's healthy, he should play. Richard on Facebook, having a lead on the number 3 team in the country until the last 32 seconds of the game is tough. But the team and coaches can take solace in knowing they can play and beat anyone on their schedule. Absolutely. 2 more wins to be bowl eligible. I think we might have found a coach. See, that's the difference. And Coach G. Piggybacked on that. Need money to keep them. And they do. They got to come up with some money, and I don't think they're going to have a problem giving them the money.
They have to figure out where it comes from.
Yeah, exactly. Mark, this defense got tired at the end of the game. Other than that, I don't see any reason why we can't go on another run. I was at the game when Cuse beat Nebraska. Oh, wow, in '84, when they were number 1, and I would put this one right up there. Well done, man. Hey, what about this, Joe? What do you think about if Syracuse? I saw a headline. I think it was from Inside the Loud House, maybe. Don't quote me on that, but I think it was missed an opportunity of a lifetime. Right, missed opportunity of a lifetime. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think that win in Clemson, Death Valley, going 5-0? Do you think it would have ranked right up there in top 3 wins in Syracuse football history, or what?
I don't know if it would have been top 3 in history, but I think if it would be because of our circumstances of being able to go 5-0. I really think that, beating the top 3 team 2 years, the same one 2 years in a row. It's that kind of stuff. But realistically, if you go back in history, I'd be willing to bet that there's 3 more games that are more important than that.
80,122 fans, Joe.
Yeah. No, there's more.
There's
stadiums that have more. But yeah, did you see that? Did you see the opening with all the fans? Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I mean, that's crazy.
And we put up a good game. So
absolutely. Jake, ran out of gas, tough loss, a moral victory if there ever was one, but damn tough to swallow. Yeah, I don't believe in moral victories, like I said, but I do think there's a lot of positive things to take out of it, and you just go from there. William, super proud of them. They played a great game. I can't wait to see them back home October 20th. That's after the bye week. After Pitt, then there's a bye week. Amber, we're improving tremendously, but need a little more work. Hard loss, though. Yeah, it was. I mean, we're seeing the trend here. Daniel, got to play all 4 to win, especially in Death Valley. Lauren, ran out of gas for sure, but let's be honest, who rushes the field after beating an unranked team? Hashtag chill out. Hashtag ahead the whole time. Yeah, like I said, I believe they do that every game. I think they do when they win at home. But either way, it's silly, right? You won't quote me. Don't. Hey, if anybody has not learned by now, don't ever quote me. Unless I say you could quote me, don't ever do it, okay? Dana, damn good game, great effort. We would have won if we were home. Now, that's it could be true. It could be true.
Shoulda, coulda, woulda.
I don't know. Right, exactly. If ifs and buts were candy and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas. Patricia, great game. Proud of the team. Matthew, love having our most consistent kicker since Orlando Mare.
Orlando Mare, yeah. He was a great field goal kicker for a while.
Yeah. Didn't he? Who did he play for in the NFL?
Majority, it was
Dolphins?
Miami.
Yeah. And like I said, Schmidt is the shit. That's my... Yep. That's my, I'm going to coin that, I think. Maybe. Probably not.
Probably not.
Sally, but for a mental mistake lineman downfield, they are doing great this year. Yeah, it could have come down to that one play because we don't know. We could have scored and went up by 10 and left. There was just over, 6 minutes left when that happened. So who knows? Who knows what would have happened if we would not have gotten that penalty. That's what hurts is that one little thing, Well,
that's the timely little thing,
Right, yeah. They played a hard game. I say they are still awesome. Great game, guys. Absolutely. So, yeah, what I love about Syracuse fans is we get all views, but there's always one consistent thing, and I think it is that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak, as far as going into Death Valley and only losing by 4 points, as bad as it hurt.
Well, let's put it. I mean, if you had expectations to win the national championship and go undefeated, sorry.
Right, absolutely. So, but when when you can taste a win like that, Joe, and it's
tough. But at the end of the day, there's so many people that probably thought we were going to get killed. Vegas had us at 24-25. We played them very, very tough. We played them at their place better than we played any other really good team. LSU, NC State, Miami, Florida State. Florida State, we almost won. But, yeah, those bigger teams that were ranked and stuff. So I think this just shows improvement and shows that, we're not going to give up. It's just we ran out of gas. So,
yeah. All right. Well, Joe, Saturday, 12:20, Heinz Field. Syracuse goes in to play Pitt. I'm going to get to your MyBookie pick first, I think. We're going to do that. I don't know if it opened up at 4.5, but it's currently at 4.5.
I think it was 5.5, I think I saw.
Oh, really? Okay. And they're giving the points to Pittsburgh. So, Joe, is Syracuse going to be able – well, let's see. Where are you placing your bet? You go.
Yeah, this is difficult.
That's a hard one.
Yeah. I mean, I'll tell you right now, just because of the fact that I'm a homer and Syracuse is covered, and I think that the mentality of this team isn't oh, shucks, we lost, so let's just tuck our tail between our legs. And I think it's different. And just listening to some of the player post-game and Dino Babers, and I think they all knew that they left a big opportunity out there. And although it was unexpected, I don't think that they're going to let that deter them this year. And it opened up 5.5, something. So that means that people are betting Pittsburgh, and I can understand because Pittsburgh season's going in the pooper real quick. But yeah, I'm going to go with just the fact that it's only 4.5 points. So Syracuse wins by 5, then they get it. And I think that they're going to come back, have the attitude to come back and not, make it a trap game. They got a bye week after this week, but Pittsburgh goes and plays Notre Dame after us. So it's not going to get any easier for Pitt. And this could very well be the game of the year for Pitt. Just because if they lose, they're going to go 2-4. They're going to be playing against the likes of Virginia Tech and Duke and Notre Dame. So it's going to be a big game for them. I think they are going to keep it closer than you'd probably expect, considering that they lost to North Carolina and got blown out by Central Florida last week.
45-14.
I still say that we go in and we beat them by the 5 points at least that we need, and we break that little. I saw something on Syracuse.com saying we haven't won a game in Heinz Field since 2001. So
2000.
2000? Okay, it was 2000. Either way, yeah. So haven't won there in almost 2 decades. So I just think that this is the type of team that's going to bounce back. I think we had some minor injuries, and other than Matt Keller, I think everyone else is going to be available for the game. And I think they're going to be. I think they're going to lay it down and give it to them, to be perfectly honest with you. I think they're not happy with some of their performances, and I think I'd expect a way, way better rushing performance from them. And, I think they won't blow them out, but we'll put up some points, and we'll win pretty easily, probably have control of the game for the most part.
All right, will Joe go 6-0 in his MyBookie pick? We don't know. We'll have to wait. We'll have to wait and see till Saturday. But what you can do in between is go to MyBookie and join. If you join and you enter promo code Cuse, they will match your deposit dollar for dollar. All right, promo code Cuse. Visit MyBookie online today. That's MyBookie. And don't forget to use promo code Cuse. If you're willing to deposit after 7 o'clock, they will give you an extra $25 free play on deposits over $100. For that deal, you use promo code Cuse25. Okay, you win, you get paid. Plain and simple. No messing with Joey Bag of Donuts. You play, you win, you get paid. Sorry. Sorry, Joe. Joey Bag of Donuts. All right,
that's
so
all good.
Saturday at 12:20 Heinz Field. SU, they've played 73 previous times. So this will be the 74th meeting. And we did beat them in the Dome last season, but, that's the Dome. It was a close game, too, by the way, 27-24. So Pitt is 2-3 overall, 1-1 in the ACC right now. Quarterback Kenny Pickett only has thrown for 743 yards in these first 5 games. I think 5 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. So, they've given up 38 points or more, too, in all 3 of their losses. So, I mean, they're struggling. Yeah, they're struggling.
Yeah, they averaged giving up 32 points a game. And one of the bigger things, like I said, I mean, they give up over 200 yards rushing a game on average, too. So they have been struggling, like you said. The one thing that worries me is I did see the one game on their schedule there where, they went to Central Florida. Central Florida's ranked 13th. They went to North Carolina and lost a shootout 38-35. Lost at home to Penn State, which Penn State's a good team. And then they obviously blew out Albany. But the one that I look at is their home game against Georgia Tech. Now, Georgia Tech's usually they're not an easy out. I mean, they have a unique offense. You know what they're coming to do and everything. But, I mean, Pittsburgh beat them 24-19. And it was a home game. And, again, going by, our record in the past 18 years at Pittsburgh, we don't fare too well. So, and it could be easy for some people to look at this last game and think that Syracuse is going to falter, or make some mistakes. And then a lot of people, again, like I said, look at it like it's Pittsburgh Panthers. It's like the last game. It's like they have to win this game if they want to stay bowl eligible because of the type of teams they're going to be playing. So I think it's going to be closer than what it probably would have been earlier in the season. But I just think we have to worry about, like you said, Kenny Pickett, not really a big throwing team. Quadra Allison is rushed pretty well. So
he's got 404 yards and 4 scores on the season.
Yeah. So I think that if we can score 30 points and we can stop their ground game better than Clemson's,
I think absolutely it's night and day.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's not really comparable. I think it's just really whether or not, like I said before, that we have the mental to come back from this past game and actually want to be there and prove a point. And I think that they do.
Absolutely.
I mean, you look at the Clemson. It was a huge opportunity, but now you have to look at the opportunity in front of you. Pittsburgh right now and North Carolina. Those 2 teams are ranked the 2 worst teams in the ACC right now.
Right, and hey,
so,
you touched on something there. I just want to play what Babers had to say. This was today in his press conference.
The Pittsburgh press conference.
Yeah, yep.
Now, but I do know this, okay? Clemson, we beat Clemson last year. I stood in front of you and told you guys it was going to be a championship team. They're going to be in the Final Four. I'm not sure if you guys believe me or not. Boom. They were a championship team and they were in the Final Four. The big thing that Clemson did last year is they didn't let Syracuse beat them twice. And we've got to take a page out of that book, okay? They beat us once. They're a good football team. But we can't make that football team good enough to beat us twice. We need to lock in, refocus, and put all of our attention and all our energy into the Pitt Panthers, okay? Because they're a good football team and we're playing them at their place.
That's just it. You got in Dungy, he's a professional enough at this point to realize it's done. It's over. The last game is done. It's time to move on to Pitt. Let's focus on that and get ready. And there's no doubt in my mind they'll be ready to play Pitt. And I'm not
downplaying
Pitt. I'm not downplaying Pitt.
No.
I'm that's just where I think Syracuse is at right now,
Yeah.
So.
And with Eric Dungy's post-game presser, you could tell that he just felt like he left plays out there almost like he was just ready to go. He said he felt sick to his stomach. So, that he's going to be ready to go out there and prove something. And again, what Babers was saying is, as Syracuse fans, you got to look at it like, okay, that was an opportunity, but you have to look at our next 3 weeks. Like we have Pittsburgh and North Carolina. Like I said, right now they're ranked the bottom half, the last two teams in the ACC. So, and those are our next 2 games. You have a chance to just go out there, leave it all on the line, show Pittsburgh what you're all about, and now you have a bye week to rest and get ready and prepare for a home game against North Carolina, which is the next worst team. So, realistically, if they just focus and get rid of this game and just get it out of their head, then there's no reason why we shouldn't be 6-1 and ranked 3 weeks from now, October 20th, October 21st, whatever it shall be.
If we beat Pitt, Joe, if we go into Heinz Field and we beat Pitt, I believe we're ranked.
Now, it all depends on what happens.
Right, I know it depends on what happens to a couple of the other teams, but and the play, I guess too.
Right.
I mean,
and the thing, if we go out there and we blow them out, then that's a different story because that's making a statement. But if we go out there,
so it's all circumstantial still.
Really. It's all circumstantial, absolutely, because of how they look at Syracuse. And then right now, Pittsburgh really doesn't have a lot of respect.
That's true.
So if we go out there and we just eke out a win, then it's not going to look too good.
Right.
But that's
5 wins though, so we only need one more, which I think we can get to be bowl eligible. But
realistically,
that's the goal.
In my eyes, if this team is different than any team that we've seen in the past couple of years, decade, whatever. If this team is different like it seems to be, then there's no doubt in my mind that come the end of the day, October 20th, 3 weeks from now, then we should be 6-1 and ranked and already in a bowl.
How about that?
How about that? So, hey, I love that prediction. And Joe, I don't know if you guys have picked up on this or not, but Joe, he knows his stuff. So if I ever have questions, honestly, I go to Joe. So if you have questions, you can too. Actually,
what?
just
seats taken.
No, for real though. I do put a lot of trust in Joe. Obviously, Joe's the more analytical guy on the show, and I trust what he says. So I put a lot of faith in what he says. He said he had a funny feeling about Clemson. They almost eked out that win, and he said it 100 times. I wasn't even going to bring it up, but Joe, you're good at that stuff, man. Don't blush. I see you blushing. It's okay. It's okay. Even his head's turning red. Look at.
Come on, it's a red shirt, Sean.
All right. We'll go play Pitt. Then we'll go. After Pitt, going into the bye week, just so everybody knows, because we're this show's running over, which I apologize for. Maybe some of you like it. I don't know. Going into the first week of the bye, we'll do the Pitt postgame, and then the following week we'll do the pregame for UNC. So. Does that sound good, Joe? Do you want to do it like that?
That sounds good to me.
All right.
Sounds like we do that with maybe sprinkle a little bit in maybe some.
We'll try
some Syracuse orange, maybe some orange basketball preview. You never know.
Oh boy,
never too early for that.
Now you're stressing me out.
All
right. No, we'll see what happens. But we've got
season's coming up fast, buddy.
I know, it's crazy, right? It is. They're already practicing. And the football season has just been going so good that I really haven't thought a ton about it, and I haven't been reading as much as I probably should, so I should probably get on that. But I do know they're practicing, and I am very excited for Syracuse basketball. So, all right, Joe, any final thoughts? Anything? Going once, going twice. We got
strong showing in Clemson. I'm glad that we didn't tank it, and hopefully we're starting to gain a little bit more respect from the nation as far as being more than just a basketball school. So
absolutely, in the words of the great Eric Dungy. So that's it. Thank you for everybody who participated in the fan feedback. Thank you, Joe. And thanks for Justin Page for bringing us on CNY Central. That was awesome. I hope we get to do that again. It was a great opportunity, and we got our caricature mugs up there on Channel 3 and 5 and 530 News. So, hey, it was a great opportunity, and we appreciate that. So that's it for Joe. I'm Sean. We're out.
Peace.
This has been the Cuse Militia Podcast with Sean and Joe. Be heard. Contact us on Facebook at Cuse Militia Podcast and tweet at us using hashtag Cuse Militia.